Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Impressions of America.
Hey guys, let's watch a video. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hi, my name's Connor if you're new. I like these videos. They're insightful. I like hearing people who live in different countries' opinion on the country that I live in and have grown up in. Very insightful. So, did I say the things? Original link, top description. Preemptive like, world of nuance. What do Europeans really think of Americans? Let's get started.
America right now.
So this kind of like consumerist way, I didn't really like it, to be honest. Like I didn't see humbleness in it.
My impression is that the country is pretty divided.
Maybe like very polarized country.
You're pulling in so many different directions. Each one of them is getting more and more radical.
American?
It seems like.
Well, you sold.
Yeah, radical politics and stuff.
Each one of them is getting more and more radical. It seems like.
Well, you sold us in movies and on other media. It's not what real America is, what real US is.
I think the news are just so negative that it's easy to forget that it's also, in many ways, it seems to me, a great country.
What do European people think of Americans? Keep watching this video to find out.
The movie thing was interesting. Something I didn't notice growing up and quickly found out, you know, as I got a little older, how prevalent Hollywood and a lot of American culture is like projected to. I don't know if I thought everyone kind of had their own film industry, which most countries do, but on the global market, it seems, you know, I know Bollywood is a really big thing in India. And I'm sure more countries' movie industries are getting more popular as time goes on. But I didn't realize just how much exposure our, you know, stuff like movies and shows had overseas. Let's go. As much as I do like nice answers, and if you're honest and it's nice, it's great. But I can take criticism. I think many Americans, maybe I shouldn't speak for everyone, but I like hearing people's honest critiques. So,
Like to all Europeans have kind of like gotten kind of like a superiority complex towards Americans. Like I think a lot of Europeans are like, there's just so much stuff and so many people in America who just seem so like out of it. Like it's just so many weird ways of thinking that. But I think I don't think it's true that Europeans aren't that way. It just seems that there are more Americans who just can make themselves believe anything. And I think also like the politics in America, a lot of Europeans, especially Norwegians, we have kind of like a belief system which in many ways clashes with the American belief system, like with healthcare. Oh yeah, a lot of that like individuality.
I'm not being able to listen. I'm gonna go back 15 seconds. Oh my God, what was I gonna say? It was important. Oh, I feel like Europeans, a lot of European countries have. This is gonna. I feel like America has like a very, you know, American flags everywhere, and you know, there's a, you know, America and 4th of July. There's an identity, but I think that a lot of European countries and many other countries outside of Europe, other continents, are more secure in what they. I think are more secure and agree upon lifestyles. How do I say this? I'm not going to move on because this is an important point I'm trying to make. It seems like America is still trying to figure it out more than a lot of European counterparts like Norway. Does that make sense? Like we're kind of winging it more, and there are a lot of like contradictory laws and beliefs, and like, oh, you love freedom, but then you don't like this. How is that freedom? And so I'd imagine it seems very chaotic from a you know, a lot of European countries' point of view. Does that make sense? the siesta, like in Spain, or like French working hour. It just seems like you guys are more comfortable with each other than Americans are in, like, you guys have more of a common goal, I think. I hope that made a little sense.
The politics in America, a lot of Europeans, especially Norwegians, we have kind of like a belief system which in many ways clashes with the American belief system, like with healthcare.
Oh yeah.
A lot of that like individuality and capitalist system, and like in Norway
Abortion,
we're more kind of and abortion, the intense like freedom. Everybody does their own thing. I will not be limited by like gun laws and whatever. Like in Norway we're kind of like more of a we have more of a socialist foundation. So I think it's easy for Norwegians to kind of look down on Americans and think that they're being like very stupid, but I don't think it's true that all Americans, obviously not all Americans are like that, and it seems like there's a lot of differences between the states, but I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's very different.
I think Norway is a supreme example, kind of really, of, it seems like it's a country that you're more of a family trying to work towards a goal of like living well together, and nobody's as kind of suspicious of the right. I can't word this.
Belief system, I think.
Like you guys are like, all right, I want to go to this, like we want to push society towards this direction, right? Whereas America is like two sides, or like three of, mainly two of like, I want to go this, and like the other side's like, I hate that, I want to go this way. And so it's just, yeah.
Funny story, I was just in America for
You guys are
6
more of a
months
team.
this spring.
That's the way I'm going to phrase it. You're more of a team. You seem like you have more of a team mentality, whereas America, it's like, just get as rich as you can, or like get the lifestyle you want, and hopefully other people will leave you alone, like that.
I was an exchange student.
And again,
there
it
in
differs
California.
between states. I gotta stop talking.
Funny story, I was just in America for 6 months this spring. I was an exchange student there in California. I've been to America a couple times, and you know, it's always a great country to visit, but of course the media coverage isn't always, you know, projecting positive things, like a lot of complications with the president or with the abortion laws, and I feel like the country, my impression is that the country is pretty divided.
I have so many opinions, okay? I gotta show, but I feel like America also, you will never have a difficult time finding out bad stuff about America, because there's always two parties, two sides that want to shed light on anything bad about the other party. And so and then you have both sides doing that. I gotta chill out. And you have both sides doing that. And so, like, no bad story is ever going to be wanted. Like, if there's trying to be wiped under the rug, the other side, the other party is trying to show that to everyone. And so it probably looks chaotic in that way. I gotta chill out, sorry.
My impression is that the country is pretty divided, and just into two different parties. So, you know, if you hear a lot of things that you maybe don't think is the best way to solve some issues. But all in all, America has always been like the big brother of the North, Norway, so no, it's not all bad.
I've not been to America so much. I visited her in Easter. So most of the knowledge about America comes from the media, and yeah, as she said, it seems to be a bit divided into two parties. That's pretty much what I know.
I think people think it's very chaotic,
Yes.
very polarized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but you know, it's now we're probably only going to mention the negatives, right? Because that's what you get in the news.
I just want to hear honesty.
Sure, America has problems, but so does
Norway.
So does everyone.
Yeah, we all do.
I think then the news are just so negative that it's easy to forget that it's also, it's in many ways it seems to me a great country.
I like this guy a lot. He seems smart.
But I think people think about the things they see in the news, and the news just tend to focus on bad things. Unfortunately, most people see America in black and white, which is what we should try not to do, because then we're just keeping it polarized in a sense.
Yeah.
We're reinforcing that.
Well, America's going to do that to itself.
What's your
Interesting
impression
so far.
of
Poland.
people in my country, or just my country in general right now?
I guess very friendly and extroverted and talkative. I guess this is maybe like very polarized country when it comes to like politics, that is very conservative and like capitalistic.
How I see America and Americans right now, it's a big contrast, and yeah, I would say the country of getting more and more. Sorry, difficult for me to express this, but express that. But it looks like it could be both very engaged, very scientific, and you know, leader in many fields. And on the other side, it's also a country of coming with the most dumb ideas and you know, very shallow approach to the life and so on. So a lot of contrast, and you know, thinking about politics, such a big country, and you cannot find a single person that could be a really decent president.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way in Poland. I mean, there's nearly 40 million of us, and yeah, we didn't have a good president either. So somehow this is a thing. I would say politically, we consider right now it's more stable having Biden as a president. Of course, Trump was considered as somebody totally unpredictable, not really the guy of politics.
Is everyone going to be watching this November? What happens?
And we could see these days also some reports that probably not the most ethical person. And you know, the way we see it also, that it's country probably good for young and wealthy people, healthy people and wealthy people.
Yeah.
Because in a way, what we hear, you know, the cost of the healthcare, for instance, seems not to be the way that developed country should handle it. But on the other hand, we see it from the distance. We are not living there, so it's just an impression. We don't know how it is for real over there.
I think America is different than a lot of countries in this. A lot of Americans' favorite country is America, but it's also their most hated country. It's like there's no country, and it's getting more and more so the case, which is scary, that there's no country that either political party or either side of the political spectrum in America, the Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, progressives, right, there's no other country that a political party in the U.S. hates more than the other party in the U.S. And I think that's not the case for most countries. But yeah, we're really getting to the point where people just, I don't know. It's clearly is seen as chaotic, and I can see that as being the case. But wanted to. Does that make
What would you
sense?
say are your impressions of America right now? Of the people there, of the country?
I've never been, you know, so I cannot really judge. Like when I used to live abroad, I met a lot of Americans. To be honest, I didn't have the best experiences, but that's those people, right? So I had this, and also, you know, I consume a lot of like American TV and a lot of movies, you know. So I think, you know, in the middle of Europe, we get a lot of your culture, you know, in this kind of lens from the movies and the music, and so we actually know a lot without even being there, you know. So I mean, I find beauty in it, but like I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, so this kind of like consumerist way that you think, or at least what I witnessed with this couple of people I met during my journeys, I didn't really like it, to be honest. Like I didn't see humbleness in it, you know?
Yeah.
I think it can be fake. Like it puts off the image or the idea, the perception, when you're so caught up in consumerism that you care more about portraying yourself a certain way than you do just being honest. And it's one of the things I noticed just hearing this woman talk. A lot of Americans, sometimes I'm like this, sometimes I'm shy, sometimes I'm not, but are like, hey, how's it going? Like, what's going on? And it can be good when it's genuine, but I think sometimes it's so much easier to trust a European's words more. I don't want to use that blanket statement. I'm one person, okay? This isn't American reacts, just one person. But I think that we might come across as just very fake. It's not to say that there aren't genuinely happy people that just like, hey, how's it going? Oh, great. What's your opinion on this? I don't know, whatever. It just seems like I can trust her words more. I am kind of wish I didn't. I don't know if that was a great
and so that was
statement by me, but maybe you
like
get what I mean.
I didn't see humbleness in it, you know?
Yeah.
And so that wasn't the best experience, but obviously I met some, like, you are a really nice guy, you know?
Thank
like,
you.
And I met an American actor who was really cool, you know,
really?
like he was so sweet, you know, and so kind and so respectable, you know, like, so, I mean, I don't really think you can generalize people, you know, you have different experiences with different people. So.
Yeah, there are like, I think there's like types of people overall.
Yeah,
like there's a certain culture, but then when you get down to individual level,
yeah, exactly.
People
So I don't want to say like I'm not into it, you know, because I don't know, you know, and I'm sure if I would go there and experience it for myself, like for instance California, I'm sure it's beautiful. And, you know, there are so many things to do and so many nice people to meet.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, you have really great artists, you know, so that you brought out into the world. So
it's very creative.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you guys are kind of crazy. Like there's just, you're pulling in so many different directions.
You're American. There's no way you're not. I wish I could speak a second language. I feel so dumb sometimes hearing people talk in English with an accent, because then it's like, oh wait, you know this entire other way of speaking that I have no idea what you're doing, and yet you can understand everything I'm saying. It just makes me feel so dumb. And you are not European, sir. That is the most American accent. You sound more American than I do. He could be Canadian, but I mean,
well, it's not like one
I
side.
want to make Canadians.
I mean, I'm all for like left-leaning stuff, like it's fine, but you can take it to an extreme that like a semi-conservative person would not be okay with.
What? I gotta stop freaking talk. I annoy myself sometimes.
You guys are kind of crazy. Like there's just, you're pulling in so many different directions, and each one of them is getting more and more radical, it seems like. There's no more common ground, or at least it's shrinking.
Yes. And you think it's both sides. It's not just like one. It's not like one side or the other.
I mean, I'm all for like left-leaning stuff. Like it's fine, but you can take it to an extreme that like a semi-conservative person would not be okay with, and I don't think that's doing anyone any favors.
Yeah.
I think I think that there are a lot of people who, I think there are a lot more people than you think that sort of more in the middle of the political spectrum that have a lot of common ground than you might think. But the problem is that they have a lot of things that they disagree in. I'm talking about both like center, center-right, center-left, moderate Democrats, moderate Republicans, kind of old-fashioned, agree on most things. You know, agree on 80%, disagree on 20%, where a lot of people now on the more fringes disagree on, did I agree on 80%, disagree on 20%, and then the other disagree on 80%, agree on 20%. But in order to, there are a lot of people in the middle, but in order for your side to win, you need the votes of the people that are much more radical. And I think that portion of people is growing a bit, but I think it's misleadingly large. It's just that they're the loudest. And even if you are pretty close and you two kind of agree, well, you still want to beat the other person. And so you need these people or these people. That might have not made sense.
Be okay with, and I don't think that's doing anyone any favors.
Yeah.
Like you can have reforms and still kind of keep with the culture or keep with like values that other people still feel important to them. So I don't know. It's very different from any other place in the world. Like I don't. To me, it's just. I don't know. They're just going in too many different directions.
I would love to sit down and talk with a lot of
I'm just
people.
curious what your thoughts are on America and like the people of America at this state in time.
I think you American people did it very well with Hollywood and all that stuff, but when you get a little bit into the US culture, you find that what you sold us in movies and on other media is not what real America is, what real
Hopefully he expands. I would love to hear. Come on.
the US is. And it's true that while the time is going by, we are starting to understand that US is not the center of the world, and we don't have to strictly follow what US is saying. And
I think that might be a product of the US being, the only you had the Soviet Union too, sorry, and the superpower for the Western world, Western Europe, and then you can go, obviously, Japan and South Korea were more US aligned. That I think the US was just so dominant because it came in late to the war. It didn't lose nearly as many young people, crucially, young people, young men, and just young people in general. And your places were destroyed a lot. And so America sitting over here, not being destroyed, all of its industrial capacity still there, and was an enormous superpower. Still is a superpower. But I think we're coming out of that. I think, you have China, just a lot of countries around the world America isn't as standalone, clearly the most powerful entity anymore. You had the Soviet Union, though. So that kind of destroys my point. I don't know.
what US people are strictly follow what US is saying and what US people are thinking. I know that also US is divided into West, as you said before. I don't know, I think the whole world is changing, and the globalization in English, is also making people understand that you can get the best parts from all the countries. Of course, US has very good things to aportar, to give to the world. But it's true also that the European people or people from many other countries can also give a lot to the world, not only the US.
It's a great video. I'd be curious to hear more about what he means. Like, I would love to hear more talk about how the movies gave a false picture of America, and like what movies he's thinking of. For some reason, I'm going to like Die Hard or Rambo or something. Rambo would be good. Rambo 3. Rambo 3 is like the most ironic movie ever because the Mujahideen in Afghanistan were fighting the Soviets before the Americans were. The Soviets were fighting the Mujahideen in Afghanistan before the Americans, and then the Americans see them as, freedom fighters. The classic, like, if I don't like you, you're a terrorist. If I like you, you're a freedom fighter. Even though you might do the same thing. And then, so the whole movie is just Rambo, this American veteran, going helping them against the Soviets, and then we do the same thing, if not worse. So maybe that's kind of what he meant. I'd love to hear more about that. I'd love to hear more from all these people. They all seem really intelligent and good points of views that were interesting to hear. Love y'all. Hope you're all doing well. If not, chin up. Emotions are fickle, my friend. You'll be good soon. See you guys. Bye. Would love any comments. Bye.